Hello and welcome back to Empire Build Academy. This is Fabian. This is the very awesome Age of Empires mobile, and this is Beginner's Guide Part 2. So welcome back to the channel. Like I say, this is Beginner's Guide Part 2. In Part 1 we got to look at the game itself, how it runs, how it operates, and of course the graphic side of things as well, which I think really makes Age of Empires stand out. So if you are new to the channel, this is part of my process. I'm calling it the 9-step process. I'll probably call it something else later on down the line, but basically I'm doing a beginner's guide ×2, construction guide, research, troops, heroes and defense, finishing off with attack, an events guide, and a frequently asked questions. And by the end of that, those 9 steps, you should be armed with some real decent information to be able to get ahead and play the game to its max. I'll also be replicating this on my empirebuildacademy.com website. And if you go across to there, and let's use Evany as an example, a game I do play a lot, you can also see that 9-step process is in here as well. And when you go into, for argument's sake, the beginner's guide, you will see that the video is at the top, the beginner's guide part 1. Then you will see the beginner's guide part 1 in blog form, and you will also find the second one down there, the beginner's guide part 2, for that as well. And if you go into the construction, you'll find the relevant construction, etc, etc. So going back to Age of Empires Beginner's Guide Part 2, this is where I'm currently at on the mobile, and I've been doing a few things since we left the first one, and it's a case of just jumping around and having a look at what kind of things we now have unlocked. You can see there's a few resource points to go and collect in terms of the resources that have been produced. You can see my research academy is also there now, where I can obviously complete my research, and all the other buildings down there as well. Now you can also see on here, which I'm hopefully showing you, the advance to Castle Age is the next stage of my upgrade on here, and also complete Island Tactics level 10. So first of all, let's go and complete Island Tactics level 10, and to do that we need to go on the ship icon in the bottom right hand corner. Click on that, and then you can see it's level 10 that we need to complete. Go into challenge, and you'll also notice as well when I go into challenge that I've actually got a couple of heroes now added to this as well, which will of course make the challenge a lot easier. So this one here, we have the 3 different ones that I mentioned. Actually, I've only got 2 attached here, so I can attach a third one. So I will add the next general there, the next 2 generals to that, and then if I go in and add archers as well and click on save, so let's make sure they've got the archers, which they now have, and click on save, and that is now 3 lots of troops that are going into battle in this particular event. So let's click on battle, and because it is the 3 of them there, the victory will be assured much quicker than normal. So that is now done, and we can come out of this because it was only level 10 that I needed to do, although I could progress through the further rounds, again knowing that with the 3 troop types out there, then I'm going to win the battle quite easy. We can click exit in the top left corner, and then this takes us back to the home screen, and you can see now that the Island Tactics level 10 is done. I can click on that and then advance to the Castle Age, which is like a new advancement within the game. It's like a new chapter, but bigger than the chapter stages, if that makes sense. And we will continue there, and it says there in the Castle Age, your achievements deserve to be remembered. Look at the land you've occupied, constantly nurturing a greater you. The future lies before you. Train your soldiers, rally allies, and use your strategies to leave your mark on the world. So let's go and do that. Click on quick use for that. So now that I've got the additional wood, I can now advance to the castle stage, which is what I will do now. click on that, age advancement, and then let's go to the next part. Big cutscene because it is a new big part when we do the advancements through the different ages, and I will click on skip there. If you want to watch these cutscenes, of course you can do, but it also shows you as well what we've now unlocked. So we've now got a war hall, a gold mine, and a blacksmith, and there is also some new units that we can train in the research academy, which are skilled swordsmen, pikemen, cavalry, and archers. So we can click continue on that. That is now done. You can also see now that we're starting to get a few packs being offered to us as well, and one of them is a third builder for £2.69. If you are going to play this game long term, then it may be something worth investing in, especially as you start to get to the really big builds that take a long time, and having obviously 3 queues building at the same time is definitely going to help. So like I say, I would say if you are going to do that, it also comes with some speed ups as well, which we can see here. And you can see you get 4 times 15-hour speed ups. You also get some resources as well, and a few other things. So let's come back off that. Let's advance to the castle age, which I thought I'd already done. That's the part of the chapter. That's now complete. And we are now into Flourishing Glory, which is chapter 15. Now you can also see as well, actually I've already done a few of these things, and that's probably because I was just sort of rushing through a few of the things in the first part. But the first thing that it's showing here is how to increase power, which it's given an arrow pointing to that top left corner, 183,891 with a green arrow. So let's click on that. Let's see what they're advising, and you can see there are quite a few things in here. In the Power Boost interface, you can view all available features for quickly increasing your power, which is a nice little thing to do. Tap any aspect you wish to improve to quickly access its corresponding interface. So if we wanted to see the city development, we could then, of course, click on the city development, and it would show us different things that we can do with that. And if we went back into there and had a look at hero cultivation, for argument's sake, you can see as well, again, it's taken us to the relevant heroes that can also be upgraded. Now, while I'm in here, I will just show you quickly. You can see with Josephine, on the right-hand side there, we've got some stars. You can see there's 5 little stars there that are kind of grade 8, but there is also a plus icon with a red dot, and most of these games all follow the same format. If it's a red dot, it's something you need to look at, investigate, upgrade, or potentially need to do something. So let's click on that, and you can see for the Josephine medals, you can see that I've now got 10 available, and if I click on advance, it will use 3 of those 10 to advance a part of that star, which I've now done. And if I do the next one as well, and I can even do the one after that, and that is how you would advance in the different ranks for your general. So in order to get the next part of that rank star, I would need another 2 of those Josephine medals, and if I click on there, it will show you as well where you can get those different medals from. So let's come back off that. That was in the advancement, and again, you can also see we can click on this as well, and we can see the different skills that she also has. So Josephine has Twilight Rosethorn and Wild Rose Arrow as well, and we can also see her health, attack, and movement speed. But again, I will be doing a special heroes video for Age of Empires where I will talk a lot more in depth about the heroes and breaking them down and what the different things do. Okay, so we've got Build Gold Mine is one of the targets which we can do now. It's a new resource that we've unlocked, which we will use in the game. So that is now complete. Assign villagers to the gold mine, which is nice and easy. We just got to click on that, and then we can add these villagers to that. If you was unsure as to where the villagers came from, all you need to do is go to your town centre, the one with the little fork icon hanging above it, and if you click on that, you can see train villagers is available in there, and you can train. I've got enough room to train one more, so I'm allowed 29 villagers. So I will click on train on that. There is also another thing you can see with the villagers, which I'm just going to show you. So you can see there, house level 1, the capacity is reached. If we upgrade houses, we can also increase the capacity of those villagers as well. So if we go across to these houses here, and if you hold down, you get to see all the different names of the buildings. And if we click on house and we click on information, you can see the villager capacity there. And you can see if you increase the level, the villager capacity also increases as well. And for argument's sake, if you was to level this up to number 10, you would be able to have, of course, 10 villagers in there as well. So the villagers, like I say, they do play a big part. We've assigned the villagers. We can do that now. And if you want to know how many villagers you've got and how many you're using, you can see top left, right next to that green arrow of our power, there is a 16 of 29 with a red dot. That there is where we can see all the villagers we have and what they are currently doing. So if we wanted to increase our hourly food production, I could add one of my available 13 villagers onto that, which would then, of course, increase the farm production. And again, same for doing the other way. If I wanted to free up one of those villagers, I could take one off the hourly food production, which would then allow me to attach these to buildings and gathering and things like that. So I do have 13 available. The idea would be, if I wasn't doing anything else and I wasn't doing anything gathering, I'd want to make sure that these spaces are all filled up and they are all doing the relevant different things. Again, that's now 22. And if I go into the gathering stone, so you can see now that they are now gathering stone, and it'll take 1 hour and 59 minutes because of the 2 that I've applied. If I put the minus on, you can see how long that gathering would actually take. And if I was actually to increase it to 3, you can see it brings it down to 1 hour and 19 minutes. And like I say, you can add and remove that relevant to what you need as you go along. Idle, I now have 5. And like I say, if I want to get more of those villagers, then all I need to do is go to one of these houses, upgrade the house, and again, if I upgrade this to the maximum level I can on this video, and you can see I can take it all the way to level 10, but I'm going to take it all the way until I need to use speed ups, which is right now, but actually I will click on that because I can get some alliance assistance. You can now see I can train 4 more because I'd increased it by 4 levels, and once I train that, that will then mean I will have 33 villagers available to assign to associated tasks. Upgrade 1 gold mine to level 10. Let's go and do that. That's the one we just placed down. Let's click on upgrade. I think it goes to a certain level, and then once it becomes over 5 minutes, you would then need relevant helps and speed ups. If you click on alliance assistance, the alliance helps there, you can see that I've got 9 available. We'll literally fully complete that off once I've received all of those. Okay, so that's how we can do all those things there. We can claim the 5 alliance gifts. We've already done that. This is again going back to the challenge on the left hand side. Or same with the help allies with building speed, which we can also click. Add 1 friend, I've done that. Reach exploration level 2. Upgrade any heroes to level 10, which I've also done. And again, you'll find that as you've gone through a few of these things, the chapters will have a lot of it already completed, which is what is happening with this particular one here. I've already done a lot of these, mainly just because I've completed it when I've gone into the relevant things. So if I've gone into a building and it says upgrade the walls, I've upgraded it to its maximum level I can, and of course that's then completed one in further chapters. The same again, you can see I'm literally going all the way down here. Is there going to be actually anything left for me to do? We will find out. Obviously, upgrading the gold mine to level 10, this is something I haven't done because I've only just put down my very first gold mine on my kingdom. Okay, let's continue research exploration. Just going to shoot through a few of these, and you can see that now a white one has appeared that I haven't done, and it says check out the community event, and that is where it's taking me now. You can see I've already done these. These have all got green ticks on the Facebook, Discord, X, Instagram, and YouTube. And the reason is I've clicked into the relevant one. You don't actually need to sign up. You just got to click on it, and it will give you the relevant rewards for doing that. But of course, if you did want to sign up to them, or you did want to follow their Facebook page, of course you can, and you can keep updated with any latest events and stuff like that. Recruit and winner rewards, I can collect some stuff in there. And these games, especially at the beginning, the first week, 2 weeks that you play these games, you will find that you get more than you need to complete various things. And the reason they do that is because they want to suck you in to being really invested in the game. And then as the game hits the 3rd week, the 4th week, that's when we start to get a bit of a struggle on in terms of completing different things. But I will say that this game is definitely one of those that I would persist with if you enjoy this kind of game, because the events that you get involved with later on are very decent. And, you know, I've played a lot of these games, and for the events that go on in this, it's one of the better ones. That doesn't mean that you don't have to do a lot of grinding or pay to win, shall we say, but it's definitely there to keep you invested in the game. Now, if I go back to that fork icon, you can see again that I can train some more troops. And if I go back to that, you can now see that I've got 34 available, and I've used currently 24, meaning I've got 10 available to add to different productions within my keep game. Okay, so what I want to do on this part, really, for the beginner's guide part 2, is just to run across the interface that we've got here and what the different things do. So we've got an idea as to what the challenge things do. You can see underneath that on the left-hand side, we've got what looks like a helmet with some swords, 0 of 4. And if you click on that, it will show you all your queues that are available. So for argument's sake, if we went on to construction, you can see that I've got 2 of 2 available. And then if I click on go, it normally takes you to a random building to upgrade. So you can do that. And then if I do that, and then I go back to that same thing again, you're going to see, because that one's completed, that I still have, from a construction perspective, 2 of 2 available. Logistics, that will be for your hospital and your research academy. The hospital is telling me that I've healed all of the relevant troops that needed doing. And if I click on the go for the next one, that will take me to the research part, where we have 2 tabs. We have our economy, and we also have our military. And if I went into the military cavalry attack 1, for argument's sake, I can click upgrade on that, click alliance assistance, and then I'm going to get that relevant research completed. Now, if I just go back into that very quickly again for the research, the reason I want to show you that is because if we go into that particular research, the cavalry attack, actually I'm just going to speed this one up, and if we go into the research and we have a look at these, you can see the different type of buffs that you get here. So my current one is 4%, power is 20, but if I was to do the next research, which requires a few resources to do that, you can see that goes up to 6%, and the power nearly doubles. So you can see how quickly doing the research, and I always say it's one of my favourite parts that I focus on any of these games, is doing these. And I always say as well, when you are doing these in there, and if I click on research again, you've got military, you've got economy. I always say do as much of the economy as you can to start with, because it's going to reduce speed ups, it's going to reduce resources required for various different events. And if I go all the way across here, and I'm just going to select a random one, resource protection, that's going to increase the protection of your resources for when you are attacked. And again, if we go into building speed 3, you can see that we are increasing the speed that buildings are completed in. I always say, when you're at the beginning, focusing as much as you can on that economy, and it's 4 of 41, is far more important than the military side of things, because you're not really using that at the beginning. And you'll also find as well there are things in that research economy that will actually increase speed up wise, resource wise within the military research as well. So definitely focusing on that. Then underneath that, we've obviously got the messages. I'm again still working down on the left hand side, and you can see that the envelope icon is where we are going to see all the way across our military, scout, alliance, government decree, system, favorites, imperial decree, mail. This is where you are going to find all of those different things. Come out of mail, and you can see we have what looks like a compass, and with the compass you can challenge. Again, it's like mini challenges within a challenge, and if you do these different ones you can earn additional rewards, and that's under the exploration tab. So you've got your exploration, you've got your daily tasks that you can do, and you've also got your challenge tasks that you can also do as well. So that is for that. We then have what it looks like a map, and this is exactly what that is. It takes us to the world where you will find not only your citadel, but you will also find other things as well around, in terms of, if we go to that search, the magnifying glass, which was next to that compass looking icon, and you can see we can find tribes to fight, we can find resources to gather, etc., etc. for that. So let's go back into our citadel, and that is where we are. And you've now got what it looks like a house icon, and clicking on that, this is where you can see all the different kind of things you can build, and if you have any available spaces to build anything else. So from a military perspective, you can see that the level 12 town centre is needed to get the war hall, level 15 town centre is needed for the blacksmith, and the glorious age is needed for the mercenary camp. And what I will say is, when I go into the next video, which is a construction video, I will have unlocked all of them so I can talk in more detail about the different buildings. And then of course we have the world chats that we can use. We've got our system chat, we've got our world chat, which is everyone in the kingdom. You've then got an English chat, or you can, I believe, change that to whatever is your preference. So I've got English, but if you wanted to speak to someone in French, you can also do that, where it'll be only French speaking people in there. And then of course the last one you have is the alliance one, and that will be all to do with the alliance that you've joined. Now, just talking very briefly about alliances, that is where we can see on the bottom row, third one along with 16 in red highlighted, that is where you will find all your alliance stuff. If you click on that and you don't see this, that's because you haven't joined one, and you will need to join one, and the idea is joining one of the best ones you can. And to find out which one is the best alliance, you can see across that bottom tab we also have what looks like an up arrow, and if you click on that, it brings up some additional options, including rankings, which is the one we want to go into. And if we go into rankings and then power under the alliance tab, you will be able to see who are the biggest in the kingdom. Now, I am part of H3L. They are the 6th biggest. I could join one of the bigger ones if I wanted, but at this stage I'm only doing this for tutorials, and I left them spaces really for the people who are going to be a lot more active. And for me, level 6 on here is perfectly fine. I did apply to the bigger alliances. There wasn't no space, but I wasn't going to force my way into those alliances for this reason. Okay, so that's how you can find that. So if you were to, say for argument's sake, look at number 3 or number 2, strongest army is number 2. If I click on that, you can see then it takes me to their information, but it says I can't join there because I'm already in an alliance. And if you're not in an alliance, that's one of the best ways to find, and you would then have the option to apply, etc., etc. Again, I am wary of time and try to keep these under 30 minutes, so I'm going to get through the last few tabs as quick as I can. So I didn't talk about the first two, which the first one is the edit troops scenario. So you've got 3 different options that you can set up your troops, I'm not going to go into too much detail because this will come under my heroes and troops video. But basically, if we look at number 1, you can see we've got Josephine there, and she also has the option to pair someone else with her as well. You may notice as well the little red icon or red shield. Ideally, you would want to pair her with someone who also does the same. So from a troop perspective, both of these can do archer, and I would obviously send that with my thing as well. So if I was to select archers, you can now see that that's exactly what would be sent. Okay, if I went into number 2, that would give me the option to do a second one. I could probably do this with pikemen. I can do this with different ones down there. So to match someone with Joan of Arc, again, if I was to click this one, it would be no good because that would be mixed troops. But if I was to select this one, that would be a good one. You can see it almost gave a bonus straight away because I've matched pikemen with that as well. So if we go onto pikemen and then click save, that will be sending pikemen in that march. Again, there is a lot more to be talking about in this in reference to troop bonuses, so I will speak about that in a further video. The next one is your heroes. Again, we've had a little brief overview on that, so I'm not going to go too much into that. But this is where you could find all your different heroes. If you see a red dot, it means something can be done. You can also see the ones that you haven't unlocked as well. And of course, there is quite a few of them. Going into the bag looking icon, this is where you would find all your items, which of course come with their various benefits. I'm not going to talk about all of them. But what I will say is if you clicked on that diamond one for argument's sake, the crystal, it will tell you in small detail what that is for. So this is used to exchange for themes in the Herald's Mystic store. And if I went onto that one that was 24 hours, you can see that would protect my Citadel for 24 hours. And that is pretty much that. At the top, we've got 3 different buttons there where we can see we've got a 9 hours rapid development one. We've got the mall, which is different events that are going on that you can obviously click on. Again, I will go in more detail for this on the events one. And then finally, we have a calendar or an event center where again, you can see all the different things that are happening, when they're happening, and how long is left on them to do that. And that is where I'm going to leave this video. I could talk a little bit more about different things, but I think I'll be covering this in future videos. If you do think there's anything that I missed that you do think might be relevant for a beginner's video part 2, then please do mention it in the comments. Just going to jump onto the governor, which was the top left. And if we click on that, you can see governor info. And within the governor info, you can see a lot of information about you and your monarch, shall we call him. And you can see that I've got the information of what alliance I'm in, how much stamina I've got, what my power is. You can also see what civilization I have selected. I did that by clicking on the Korean shield. And this is something you can also change depending on what it is you're looking for. They all come with their various and different buffs. Just going to go back there. You can see that I'm in the castle age. You can see that I'm level 10 Citadel. Gives me my governor account info, the empire that I'm in, which is 249, my region and home region, and then of course on the left hand side we've got all our settings which we can obviously apply, and there's some obviously additional options in there, and we can obviously of course customize our monarch as well. So I'm going to leave it there. Like I say, I don't really like them to go too much past the 30-minute mark. I will obviously do the editing to bring this video down, and the next video that I will be doing for Age of Empires will be the construction one. Do please help support by visiting my website empirebuildacademy.com and also subscribing to this channel as well, and I will look forward to seeing you in future videos. Thanks for watching.